if two sides want to have deal, they will have.
Hi, sir. I'm Siddhanta from WION, is India's international channel. My question to you is, when Prime Minister Modi was in Moscow, you condemned the embrace between the Indian Prime Minister and the Russian President. He's here in Kyiv. He embraced you. Has your assessment changed because he is present in Kyiv, meeting you and hugging you? My second question is, you talk about territorial integrity and aggression. China in the Indo-Pacific has been aggressive with countries, including with India. Will you condemn China on the same terms? And the third question is the Kursk incursion. What is the assessment you shared with the Indian side, and how long you plan to continue, how deep you plan to continue this incursion? Do you plan Moscow itself?
I'm happy the Prime Minister came to visit us, and I believe this is very important. This is the first visit of the Prime Minister of India to Ukraine. We are ready on our part to do the respective steps. We've heard the messages from the Indian side that they would be happy to welcome us, our team in India. I believe this is the approximation of our parties that is positive, not negative. As for the Putin, my position was that, and my signal of condemnation was not because the Prime Minister came to see Putin, but because the Prime Minister came to Putin and Putin killed our children, and we wanted to have some reaction, to hear some response. And I think it's important that the democratic world is understanding what is happening, that Putin is a killer. And as for the hugs with the Prime Minister of India, or the handshakes, or anything else, it's the decision made by every leader. I can't tell you anything with regards to that. I believe that if the leaders of the world are meeting with the other leaders who kills people, children, who conquers territories, invades into the territories, it means that there's no diplomatic isolation to this person. It means that this is an act, well, I believe it like that this act will not result in a person like Putin would understand that he's doing something wrong, that he's isolated, that he's alone, that the whole world condemns him. That is why I believe that we cannot remain silent. We have to respond. And I always respond because I know what would be the end to that. A longer war, someone gets tired or has a fatigue. One person meets Putin, 3, 4, 5, and then the people would gradually forget about the occupation, the killings, because life goes on, and there's many economic challenges in a variety of countries, and you would need to think about your own interests. So I will keep reminding this to anyone we have contacts with, and I think this is important. And let me pass to the second part of your question now. Why is this important? Because this is a signal. If the Putin can do something, then the others can do something. So whenever you're asking me about the other countries, including China, I think as long as Ukraine stands and fights and condemns the violation of sovereignty and territorial integrity, as long as the world is with Ukraine, the risks of other crises occurring in the world decrease. That is what I believe. If there will be a justification of Putin's actions, then I'm confident there will be consequences in other parts of the world as to the violation of the territorial integrity. Now, if those consequences, if the violation of the territorial integrity, sovereignty, etc., will happen, then Ukraine will always stand in support of those countries whose rights are being violated, and there will be countries fighting for their own freedom, and Ukraine will always support them. And it doesn't matter the size of the country violator, the size in terms of the territory or in terms of the army, because it's a matter of values. And these are the matters of people as well. Every single person, because every single person is important. Well, as for the other question, as for our operation, You've asked about the Kursk operation, because this is what I was interpreted.
Ми не вторгались на територію Російської Федерації.
We did not incurred into their territory, but in fact it was Russia that invaded the territory of Ukraine 10 years ago. They've prepared the incursion in the Kharkiv region, and they wanted to occupy the city of Kharkiv with the population of 1.5 million people, because Russia has invaded in this direction. And the people from these small settlements of the Kharkiv region, they went to the city of Kharkiv, and now the population of the Kharkiv city is 1.5 million people. Russia wants to occupy the city. We stopped. So that was part of their operation. We have deterred that. We have broken that. And their next step was in the north of our country, and they've prepared everything for that. They were planning to start operating from the vicinity or from the direction of the Sumy region. And the difference is that we have conducted some preventive actions, preventing them from occupying our city. We managed to do that earlier. And since Putin is occupying us, and he's doesn't really taking care of his own territories, and we clearly understand that, because the air defense in Russia, well, we know, because we are taking attacks against their energy facilities. Well, they are hitting our energy facilities. We are hitting their airfields. We know where they have the air defense. Just for you to understand, there's an air defense around Moscow, around the summer house of Putin in St. Petersburg. But in small cities and settlements in the Kursk region, where we've entered, there's no air defense. Well, yes, there's their military. There are some forces, but they don't have the air defense of a size and capacity as it is around the house of Putin. So clearly he cannot hold this, and he has to start feeling this war, and he will feel this war. We don't have other chance, because otherwise, if you're not stopping, if the diplomats of the world are not willing to isolate him totally, then he will continue with his military actions. He will continue with killing children. We showed him once this in the Kursk direction. My name is Smridu Lagosh. I work